mammy ain't his wife. Chopping cotton, don't be slow. Better finish out your rope. Keep moving with that plow. Driver man will show you how. Get to work and root that stump. Driver man will make you jump. Better make your hammer ring. Driver man will start to swing. Ain't but two things on my mind. Driver man and quitting time.
Good morning. So I'm doing a presentation on chapter 4, which discusses the emergence of jazz as well as how it influences African American history. Jazz is the type of music that combines European classical music with American music, while also incorporating African American slave folk song, as well as other elements within the African American culture. This demonstrates how African American culture could have signified influence of jazz music. In this slide, it's showing pictures of jazz represented in African American culture. Throughout African American history, music began to evolve. However, they were more likely to present themselves after the Civil War has taken place, since this was a time when the slave laws against African Americans were eased. Even though African Americans were experiencing racism at the time, they were still able to present themselves in terms of music. Jazz is an example of type of music that African Americans represented. It began in the late 19th century, which is at this time after the Civil War, and it continued to evolve into the early 20th century. Jazz originated in the city of New Orleans. Even though jazz initially evolved following the Civil War, it emerged, increasing in popularity during the World War II, and eventually became a part of African American culture. During this time, jazz became a form of concert. It is not just a music performance, but it is also recognized as a part of the legacy of European music. When African Americans perform the jazz concert, they implement some African American culture, making it more unique. Jazz also became popular during the Civil Rights Movement. And during the Civil Rights Movement, African Americans were able to use jazz to express their beliefs for equality. They also used jazz to demonstrate the importance of the culture and to acknowledge diversity. Sometimes African Americans will use music to express the struggles that they have been encountering, such as racism and discrimination. During this time, many forms of music emerged, including jazz, and jazz helped in both starting the civil rights movement and allowing the events of the civil rights movement to be meaningful. African American rights were able to gain some recognition by presenting their jazz to the American public. For example, many songs were written to speak out for racial equality. They were also used to express the oppression that African Americans have been facing.